The bronze casting tradition remains one of the greatest defining characteristics of the historic Benin Kingdom in South Nigeria geopolitical zone. It was said to have been established in the 14th century by Oba Oguola and placed under the hereditary leadership of the Igun Eronmwon.
This institution is created by the Oba of Benin. It's a guild set aside for bronze casting. Igun was created in the old because there was no means of recording events, or rather newspapers, documentary events. So this was created to represent that sector of the economy. Because when an event is happening in the palace, the Oba do call on the chiefs, the chief custodian of Igun Street, to represent the modern day media houses. So which we record events with our eyes and store it in our brain. So by the time we get to the workshop, then we replicate by way of physical work through a three-dimensional or two-dimensional arts, and it is reproduced in bronze and is being taken to the palace, because in those days it was a palace art or court art. This is only the Oba that gives permission to cast work in bronze. So this has been the lineage of bronze casting in Benin.
The art of bronze casting helped the ancient kingdom to produce some of the finest bronze heads, many of which were allegedly carted away by the invading British colonial forces during the Benin expedition of 1897. The Benin bronzes are a group of more than 1,000 metal plaques and sculptures that decorated the royal palace of the Benin Kingdom. Collectively, the objects from the best-known examples of Benin art created by artists of the Edo extraction.
When you are talking about bronze casting, we have different stages. We have the molding stages, we have the covering stage of the skeleton stages, we have the pure molding stage where you do the main design. You have the covering stage, you have the casting stage, and you have the chiseling or the cleaning stages, the cleaning stage. So this process, I'm trying to design something. What you can see now is what we call the Ada and the Eben in Benin. So when you see the Oba of Benin, when it's coming out, you see the Oba with Ada. When you see the chief going to the palace, you see them with the Eben.
Bronze casters, Igun Eronmwon, are the highest ranking craft guild within the hierarchical structure of the Weibo society, followed by blacksmiths, the Igun Eronmwon, as well as the ivory and wood carvers, Igbesama.
So many guilds in Benin. You have the Igbesama, you have the Ifieto, you have the Gbogbelaka, you have the wood carvers, Igbesama, and so many others. So all this represents an industry of those days that has something to do with the palace and with the Benin Kingdom.
The origins of bronze casting in Benin has always been a subject of debate. However, one popular story credits Oba Oguola, who was on throne 1280, with sending for a master brass caster from Ile-Ife, the capital city of the ancient Ife Kingdom, to the northwest, and with later establishing a royal brass casting guild. Whilst other stories suggested that bronze casting was developed independently in Benin and may have mutually benefited from exchange with Ile-Ife. Despite the long rich history of the bronze casters, they are worried over those who will sustain sculptural operations of the Benins.
Casting in Benin is a primogeniture that is passed from father to son. So it's our children that will take after us. But now I must tell you the fact that we are afraid because any moment from now, maybe from our generation, I'm afraid that this job will go into extinction, because most children now, they are going for greener pastures. They want to be on our own. Bronze casting job is very tedious and energy consuming, and you have to use your brain and your fingers to produce artworks. So most children now, what they do now is to use their fingers in a computer to get money.
Casters in both regions use the lost wires method, in which a precisely detailed wires model is formed over a red earth core. When the model is complete, red earth is carefully applied over the wires. It is then heated, melting the wires which exist from a narrow channel. Next, molten metal is poured into the mold. Once cooled, the hardened red earth is chipped away, leaving behind an image now cast in bronze.
We practice the lost was method. Any bronze that you are seeing us, we call it the lost was method. That is what we practice. That's why I told you that the first stage is to go for the coil or the skeleton. So you wrap it and you design it, just like what you can see there. You can see those work there.
I've been in it right from when I left my secondary school. I've been living, keeping my family with it. My family, with their graduates, and I've been able to sustain my life with it. That would say more than 50 years. Yeah, because when I was 10, I've started casting. I've started molding and casting.
Like this now, we call this the seed of oracle. Seed of oracle. It contains so many things concerning life and destiny. So it's mainly used by the native doctor, the herbalist. Using fire to file it to make sure it shines. It brings out the great color of bronze. That is what it's doing now. You can see it's trying to crack every faces, every corner where filing machine cannot go into. So it's what it's trying to work on.
The bronze head of Queen Ida is a commemorative bronze head from medieval Benin that probably represents Ida, mother of Oba Esige, made during the early 16th century at the Benin Carts.
This one, the red coil has been removed. Okay.
It's hereditary. It was my father who taught me the knowledge of bronze casting. Even when I go to my university, I come out. But because it has been a parcel of me, I go to work, I still come back to do it.
Apart from the plaques, other sculptures in brass or bronze include some famous portrait heads, jewelry, and smaller pieces.
Our patronage come from outside the country. Our collectors, majority of them comes from outside the countries. So since that COVID-19 has a kind of blockade that you no longer travel because of COVID-19, it has really trimmed us down in the area of sales.
Really, to me, there is no challenges because everything we use here are crude instruments, which we produce ourselves. That's what interests the world.
I would say Benin have the best arts in the country. Call it bronze work, call it woodwork, call it tourist center. We have so many of them here, which has not been able to harness by the government. Let the government wake up to harness all this, so that our youth can be trained, so that all this we are talking about should not go into extinction.
The Benin bronzes led to a greater appreciation in Europe of Africa culture and art. In tropical Africa, the techniques of lost wires casting was developed early. as the works from Benin shows, which was also part of the booty of the punitive expedition of 1897, taken to different destinations. For sustainability, government and relevant authorities should be able to design a template for total preservations. Eben Enasco for Perspectives.